You are live, my friend.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Tuesday. It's $5 Tuesday. We're all about finding edges. We're going to be heavy on college football. Jesse's going to break down Iowa State, Colorado. He's going to give us two college teams. We give him the choice. You want to fade or you want to support two teams? Well, we all know he's coming on here to fade a couple teams. Bryan Power is going to take a look at Blue Jays and Yankees, Eagles and Giants. And the Prez, my good friend, Lawrence is going to preview Broncos versus Jets in London. Let's cash some tickets across the board. Of course, we're going to do all around the world. It's NHL. Of course, we got to give out a free NHL play. So no time to waste. Hit the like button, please. You guys know it helps the algorithm, and appreciate you guys for watching us live. Let's bring in Jesse and let's talk some college football. Jesse, this Iowa State Colorado game. I just wonder at some point, does this Deion Sanders health situation, at what point does it affect the team? I don't know. You're wearing the Colorado jersey. I want your take on Deion and what's going on, sadly, with him, and then your take on this game.
Well, I think it's fair to tell the viewers a little bit of the backstory with the Colorado jersey, because if I'm going to come out here and talk about Colorado wearing their jersey, they might think I'm a little bit biased. But I didn't come upon this jersey because I'm a fan. In fact, I lost a bet with Colorado fans, which is how I ended up with this jersey. It was a win-win, though. I'm happy with it. I am a fan from week to week. I will bet against Colorado or I will bet on Colorado. But I got to say, this line opened at 4.5. It's been bet down to mostly threes across the board now. I do still see some 3.5s. And I do like Colorado in this spot, Andy, because if you watched Iowa State play at Cincinnati last week, there's no way you could be laying money with Iowa State as a road favorite. Now, they lost 38-30, and you might think, well, that's not that bad. But they trailed 31-7 with a minute to go in the second quarter, and they stormed all the way back. Admirable performance from Rocco Becht. He threw for 314 yards and a pair of touchdowns on 30 of 48 passing. He also ran the ball in for 2 more touchdowns. And there was this narrative heading into this game that Iowa State lost both its starting corners for the season, and they were going to be really vulnerable to the pass. However, Brendan Sorsby threw for just 214 yards and 2 tutties. He did score 2 rushing touchdowns as well. And it wasn't the passing game that did them in. It was the running game. Cincinnati ran the ball for 264 yards or 260 yards on 34 carries, averaging 7.6 yards per carry. The game was not as close as it appeared to be at the end. The reason why Iowa State was able to claw their way back into that game is 128 penalty yards for the Bearcats, and that included a couple touchdowns getting taken off the board. Cincinnati was really dominant in that game, and I worry about Iowa State. I think they're just a little bit too banged up. Colorado has a lot of fight in them, and, you know, the health concerns for Deion, he's a man of faith, and I believe that his players are probably thinking along those lines. And I think in tough times with his health, you know, the team's going to rally around him. I do like Colorado getting the points here. I also like the over. I think we can see Colorado score some points on this defense. Like I say, they just got absolutely gashed on the ground by Cincy last week. Colorado with their dual threat quarterback, I think they can put some points on the board here. I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams score in the 30s again here in this game.
All right, Jesse, we always give you the chance to give us two teams to bet on, two teams to fade. I already know the teams you're going to talk about, and I'm going to go head to head with you on one of them. So, if you could, in the chat, put a little friendly wager that Jesse and I can make. Just a gentleman's little wager here. I want to hear the teams you're going to fade, and then I'm going to tell you which one I disagree with, and we'll come back next week and see if we can settle up. So put in the chat. Maybe I got to wear a hat or something kind of dopey. Just put in the chat what you like. So Jesse, give us two teams you're going to fade.
Well, let's start with your favorite, Florida State. I've been printing money fading Florida State the last couple weeks. We did have Virginia outright over Florida State, and I did bet against them, or I didn't have a client play on it, but I gave out a play on on Miami in that game. Florida State, really, they're still living off of that win over Alabama in week 1. Then they go out and play a couple cupcakes, including East Texas, A&M, and Kent State. And I think this line is influenced by, first of all, the yardage and the points they put up against those 2 cupcakes and the Alabama win. Let's look at Thomas Castellanos. If you remember, I was highly critical of his comments giving Alabama bulletin board material in the offseason heading into that week 1 matchup. It worked out for him, but since that Alabama game, he has struggled. In fact, his year-to-date stats, if you exclude FCS teams, just against Division I schools, he's just got 3 touchdowns and 5 picks on well below 60% passing. They don't really have much of a threat in the passing game. They are able to run the ball, though, and that could be scary, but they're going up against a Pitt team that can actually defend the run pretty well. They rank number 1 in the ACC against the run, allowing just 66 yards per game. And it's not like Pitt hasn't played anybody. And it's not like this isn't a good Pitt team. Pitt's record is absolutely, well, it's not a fair representation of the team because their quarterback, Eli Holstein, ranked dead last in Power 4 among Power 4 quarterbacks in efficiency. He was absolutely terrible. He lost his job. In comes freshman Mason Heinschel. I don't know how to say his name, but the kid, the 18-year-old, throws for 323 yards, no picks on 30 of 41 passing against Boston College. Yes, I know it was just one result. Yes, I know it was against Boston College, but I'm pretty convinced that this Mason Heinschel is going to be better than Eli Holstein because, let's face it, the bar was pretty low. This is a big number, double-digit spread. I honestly think Pitt has a puncher's chance here. I'll take the double digits. I'll take 10.5, and I'll take them for a sprinkle on the money line.
No.
Is this the one you disagree with?
No. It's this next one that I'm gonna friendly disagree with you on. So all right, go for it. What's your next team you're fading?
Well, Georgia Tech was one of my long shots heading into the season to make the playoffs. I'm a big Georgia Tech guy. I love Brent Key. I love Haynes King. Unfortunately, this is a team that, due to the style they play, they can lay an egg occasionally. And in their last game against Wake, they trailed 17-3 at the half against Wake. They needed to come back with a miracle in overtime to win 30-29. They laid an egg there. They got away with it. Now they're playing a Virginia Tech team that lost its coach or fired its coach early in the season. Virginia Tech is 2-1 under Phil Montgomery, and that includes a road win at NC State. Now they just played Wake Forest as well, and they played a 1-score game at home against Wake Forest and lost. So both these two teams are coming off games against Wake Forest. Georgia Tech won in overtime, and Virginia Tech lost a close game. Georgia Tech obviously relies on the running game and Haynes King, the quarterback. Now, one thing is they also rely on the health of Haynes King. If Haynes King gets dinged up, they're kind of screwed. But they also struggle to defend the run. I think that might be the key here. Georgia Tech ranks dead last in the ACC, allowing 166 rushing yards per game. Now, Virginia Tech doesn't run the ball as well as Georgia Tech does, but they're still average to above average running the ball. I think both teams want to establish the run here. Georgia Tech's a little better at running the ball, and Virginia Tech's a little better at defending it. I think we get within that 2.5 or 14.5 point spread. I think Virginia Tech can keep this to less than 2 touchdowns.
All right, this is the one. I think Georgia Tech drops the hammer. Like you said, last week was kind of they laid an egg. I think they get back on track. And you're right, Haynes King is, long term, this isn't great for him. 21 carries last week, but he did average 5 yards per carry. And I just can't get over this Virginia Tech team who gave up 250 rushing yards to Old Dominion. I think this is a great spot for Georgia Tech to really
That was
get back on track.
pre-coach change, though, I will point out.
Details. It's just, it's a fair point. It's a great point. I just like these teams that when they played their worst, they kind of came out with a win. So I'm gonna go head to head with you. I'll take Georgia Tech to win by 20. So yeah, that's where I'll be going with that one. So what else are you liking this week, Jesse? What teams have you been enjoying watching or supporting?
Yeah, Alabama and Vandy went well for me. I did a show on Last Call. I said, the public's got this one completely wrong because the public just loved Vandy. And I did say on Last Call with Joe Madden, I said, if you like Vandy, bet them for the first half, but Alabama is going to run away with it late. And sure enough, that's what happened. Now, I know I'm going to catch some flack. Some people are going to say, last score in the final seconds, you got lucky. I don't think that's a fair take. I think that was part of the handicap because it was a revenge game. You had to know that if Kalen DeBoer was going to have an opportunity to run in a late score, he was going to take it. I believe I said that in my analysis of the game. So yeah, that was the highlight of the week with college football last week. As far as what I got going on right now, we got the NHL opening night. My $5 Tuesday play is a player prop in the game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. A big rivalry game, probably an entertaining game to watch. So yeah, you can pick that up for $5.
Awesome. Great stuff, Jesse. Always looking sharp in the Colorado jersey. Best of luck. We're going to visit it next week. If Georgia Tech wins, maybe you have to dress like a bee.
All right.
Great work, Jesse. Always my favorite college breakdowns of the week. You always bring the thunder. Good luck to you on $5 Tuesday. And let's get NHL season started. Jesse, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Let's just move right into Bryan Power. Bryan is looking spiffy as always with the shirt. I almost put on that shirt, Bryan. And then I was like, Bryan normally wears that WagerTalk shirt, so I'm going to make sure I don't wear it. That way, we do. You're muted, Bryan. There we go.
You think I've done enough of these that I would forget to, I would remember to turn that off. What I was saying, Andy, I was joking, and now the joke won't land as well, is I'm glad you think of me when you're getting dressed, at least. That is refreshing to know.
When I first got to WagerTalk, everyone just thought I was crazy because I hate when I'm wearing the same color as another guest. I think it looks bad on camera, and so
it looks a little weird.
When we would come on shows, if we were wearing the same shirt, I would get up and go change, and everyone would be like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Look, it's my thing." So it's my one thing that I'm really anal about. So
glad that we can be dressed appropriately here on the program today.
Absolutely. Let's do some Major League Baseball here. The Yankees have done a great job. They've held the Blue Jays to 23 runs the first two games. Yikes. Yeah. So we got Baber for Toronto, Rodon for the Yankees here. I don't know what to say about this pitching staff for the Yankees. It's been really, really bad. How do you break down this game? I mean, we got the Yankees as a favorite here, and the over/under at 7.5. So the books are sticking to their guns on this number. What are you seeing in this game?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by apologizing to Blue Jays fans, Andy. Of course, we have so many great Canadians here at WagerTalk. Jesse Schule was on before me. Of course, one of my favorites, the Prez, will be on next, I do believe. I saw Carmine Bianco in the chat, I think. And the reason I'm apologizing, Andy, is because I have spent the bulk of this season saying the Yankees were the best team in the American League East. That, clearly, based on what you just said, has not been the case the first two games of this series. Toronto, as you astutely pointed out, has scored 23 runs off 29 hits to take that commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 situation. They have more home runs, 8, than strikeouts in the series. Pretty good for Toronto at the plate. Game 2, this is incredible. Game 2 saw the Blue Jays take a 12-0 lead before the Yankees recorded their first hit. So a one-sided game indeed. Now, of course, the Yankees are returning home for Game 3. They are favored to win with Carlos Rodon on the mound. Rodon has allowed 3 runs or fewer each of his last 11 starts. So you might say he seems like an ideal candidate to slow down this Toronto offense. But, one might have said the same thing about Max Fried heading into Game 2, and he obviously got lit up And there are some troubling numbers, guys, for Rodon heading into tonight's critical game 3. 3.78 FIP, not all that great. 5.32 career ERA in the postseason. 2 regular season starts versus Toronto. Rodon allowed 6 runs, 2 were unearned, and had the same number of walks as he did strikeouts. That's never good. Also, Vlad Guerrero, who's obviously been on a tear in this series so far, 6 for 9, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's 10 for 17 lifetime against Rodon. It's not good if you're a Yankees fan, obviously. And oh, by the way, I have not even mentioned yet this atrocious Yankees bullpen, which has an ERA of 9 and a 1.76 whip so far in the playoffs since August 1st. This has been the 6th worst bullpen by ERA, have the pinstripes been. So I'm going to admit here, I'm not confident enough, Andy, to bet Toronto to make it a 3-0 sweep. But given all the info I just laid out, I will bet on their offense to go over the team total of 3.5 tonight. Since the All-Star break, the Blue Jays have been number 1 in all of baseball when it comes to runs scored, batting average, OPS, and WRC+. We only need, again, 4 runs tonight from them, and we're guaranteed all 27 outs because they're the road team. So Toronto team total over 3.5.
All right, that's 7.5 for the total game is just
it seems
staring
low
me in the face.
It seems low.
And maybe that's just I'm not a baseball guy. Maybe that's just the average guy in me, and the books are going, no, we're not going to overreact. Andy, you're the one that overreacts. But boy, that's 7.5. Man, maybe the books are telling us something. They already know.
Yeah, like I said,
4-1 game, 5-1 game.
coming into this series, my thought was again, and that's why I started with the apology. I thought the Yankees were the better team. I thought they had a chance to win this series in 4. That is now impossible to do. Obviously, they would have to win 3 in a row to advance. So I don't want to come too much off my pre-series opinion, but look, this Blue Jays offense, the proof's in the pudding. Like I said, number 1 basically in every key offensive category since the break. So let's bet on that offense to go over 3.5 runs. I don't think it should be that hard.
Let's move to Thursday Night Football, Eagles and the Giants. Jackson Dart came crashing down to earth. I saw a stat. That was the first time in NFL history a team had turned the ball over 5 possessions in a row. Yeah, yikes. Short week. Maybe the short week is good because you don't have time to dwell on it and think about it. Or maybe not enough time to get ready and prepared. You got the Eagles in an obvious bounce back spot. This line is already up over the key number of 7. So we're up to 7.5 over unders 41.5. How do you break down Eagles and the Giants?
I'm glad you brought over that turnover stat, Andy, because I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But first, did you all know, going back to the start of last season, the Giants are one of 2 teams in the league that does not have a single division win? Everybody watching live in the chat, everyone watching live in the chat, if you want to take a guess who the other team is, I'll give the answer at the end of the breakdown. And you get no prize, but you can always brag to your friends, I guess. That's something. But this is the second week in a row, Andy, to your point with the turnovers, that we have an underdog on Thursday Night Football coming off a game where they turned the ball over a bunch. Last week, of course, it was the Niners. They were -4 in turnover margin the previous game against the Jaguars. Well, guess what they did? They obviously bounced back and beat the Rams outright. Interesting stat about teams that turn over the ball a lot here. So you go back to 2020. Teams that come off a game where they had 4 or more turnovers, 71, 51, and 6 against the spread the following week. So almost 60%. Pretty profitable situation there. Giants hope that trend continues because, as you mentioned, Andy, they turned it over 5 times last week in a pretty pathetic loss to the Saints. That game really swung on an 86-yard fumble return for a touchdown. So that was the key of those 5 turnovers because at the time it looked like the Giants were going to go in, take the lead. Instead, Scatabo fumbles. It's returned all the way to the house. G-men lose 26-14. Jackson Dart, you mentioned him. He spells his name with an X. I don't know about that, but I do know that he's led the Giants to a touchdown on the opening drive each of his 2 starts. It's probably not going to happen every game, but it's something worth monitoring. Brian Daboll, the head coach for New York, he's clearly scripting the beginning of the game well for his rookie quarterback. But my bet here, it's more about just wanting to fade the Eagles, Andy. It's something I did last Sunday, and Denver +4.5 ended up being an outright winner. Yes, Philadelphia's still 4-1 on the season, but none of those 4 wins have been by more than 7 points. This is a team, guys, the Eagles. They are -0.9 in yards per play differential. To put that number in perspective, the Giants are -0.8 in yards per play differential. So give me the +7.5 here Home dogs getting 7 or more in a division game, that's historically profitable. It's a low total here as well, so you got to think points are at a premium. Having that 7.5-point head start with the G-Men seems like the way to go for me. And if I don't know if anyone got the question right, but the other team besides the Giants without a division win going back to the start of last season, would you like to take a stab, Andy, as I see you scratching your chin? I'll give you a second to think. Who the
Is it the Tennessee Titans?
Surprisingly, it is not. That is a very good guess, though.
I'm trying to think of just the worst of the worst. Jets? I don't know.
It is the team that will be playing the Titans this week. The Las Vegas Raiders do not have a division win going back to the start of last season. So Raiders and Giants are the two teams. Oh, there we go. Somebody got it.
Got some correct ones in there.
Many people got it. Again, your prize will be on the way. Just send Andy your address. He'll take care of the cash. All right. There you go. Cuban.
Guys, do not post your address in the chat. Do not post your address in the chat. All right. Bold taking the Giants. But, yeah, they get that key number. Question, if it was 6.5. Yes.
Well, I understand that Dan isn't here today, so that made it a little easier to say Giants plus 7.5.
If it was 6.5, you still taking Giants, or is that a layaway? You get the key number?
The key number helps. I'm not going to lie to you. But, I mean, the Eagles, look, obviously the Giants, they stink. But it's not, again, the Eagles have not been a dominant 4-1. I mean, I laid out people can go back to my page. They can see all the reasons I took Denver against them last week. You hate to say it's a deserved close loss, but it was a deserved close loss for the Eagles after some of the pulling their feet out of the fire those first couple weeks.
I was with you 100%. I did a breakdown video on that game. I took the Broncos as well. Dan and I were talking. I think that was a great loss for Philly. They were kind of squeaking by. They needed to get a loss out of the way, regroup. Let's get back on track. I actually think the Eagles are going to be just fine. You don't want to be playing your best ball at the beginning of the season. I think you want to get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, they'll tell you that from last year, certainly. I still think, I mean, if you just kind of want like my broad global thoughts, I still think the Eagles will probably win this division, the NFC East. I liked them under their win total and to win the division before the start of the season. I think those two things can certainly come about. But again, I'm not in the habit, Andy, of laying more than a touchdown on the road in a division game. So just kind of, I guess like the concept or whatever, the word escapes me that I'm looking for here. The Giants would be the play for me.
All right, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have up for everyone?
Yeah, just want to go back to the weekend, guys. The weekend started great, Andy. I had my biggest college football play of the season, a 5% max bet. It was Cincinnati over Iowa State. Got a little hairy at the end, but Cincinnati was definitely the right side. That was when I thought it was going to be the start of a great weekend. Unfortunately, guys, the rest of the weekend was kind of a disappointment. At least we did have the Jaguars last night. You talk about teams that deserve to lose close, Andy. I don't think any team deserves to lose close more than the Kansas City Chiefs. When Joe Buck kept talking about that 11-0 stat from last year, I said, ooh, the regression gods could come smiling on us, and they did. So that was a nice win to cap the NFL week with the Jaguars. I wanted to point one thing out, too, about this show. Last 3 weeks, I am 6-0 when coming on the show with the picks I've given.
Wow.
So Blue Jays team total over, which is a client play, a 2% client play, and that play on the Giants. Perhaps you would like to scribble that down on a piece of paper, everyone. And you should also scribble down on a piece of paper, wt.buzz/BP. That is where you go for a best bet in college football. As always, Andy, for $5 Tuesday, I like to choose a college football game where I think we're getting a good line right now. And I give it out for $5. Let's beat that line move. You get it for that great price of $5, 4% best bet. Only $5. Again, we won our biggest play of the season last Saturday with Cincinnati against Iowa State. And it'd be something if they beat Ohio State. But, yeah, go to my page right now and get that 4% best bet for just $5. Really like this one, and I recommend getting it now instead of later. Let's get that best available line.
Bryan Power, everyone, and tell everyone about the Blitz every Thursday.
Yes, every Thursday we are talking college football for a full hour. We will talk any game you would like. Obviously, we highlight all of the biggest matchups each and every week, but it's driven by you guys, the show. If you guys, I see some familiar names in the chat right here that join us every week for the Blitz, again, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, immediately following you here on WagerTalk Today. Any game you have a question, you want our opinion, me, Ralph Michaels, Ross Benjamin, we'll break it down for you. Happy to do so. Tune in live, best way, so that way you can get your questions answered.
Bryan Power, everyone, thank you so much. Always a great segment. 6-0 run on these picks on the show. It is $5 Tuesday. All handicappers have a $5 pick up at WagerTalk.com. Mine is always on Contender Series. We only got 2 more weeks left of Contender Series, and we have a best bet that is up. We cashed last week, so if you want college football, we got plenty of those. We got MLB, we got those. You want Contender Series, we got you covered. Get as many $5 plays as you're comfortable with. We encourage you to get your favorite handicapper, try out some handicappers that you haven't tried before. Bet responsibly. We don't want too much of your bankroll in play on one night, but $5 Tuesday, great way to take advantage of all of the plays that we have up at WagerTalk.com. We're going to do some free plays with all around the world after Prez, and then I'm going to give you a little Contender Series breakdown. But let's bring in the Prez right now. And
yes, let's.
All right, Prez. I think your mic might be on the computer, not necessarily the mic there. But we have a couple things to show you.
Really?
Yeah. We have a couple things to show you. One is a picture of the ring girl in one of the fights that I researched for Contender Series, and the other. Let's start with Bill Sandoval's comment. He says, Andy, Prez was ripping the prop picks that you and Andrew had yesterday, and a lot of them hit. He pissed me off with his rant. What props did we do that you didn't like?
No idea. I don't even know that you had any prop bets. What I was ranting about is the stupidity of a guy's going to get a touchdown. We must take a touchdown prop or a sack prop, or is this the day somebody scores a goal? I don't buy those props. I don't make those props. I think those props are the same as a warranty at Best Buy. I think the books lick their chops when people make them. Now, with all that said, if Andy and Andrew have figured out a way to beat an impossible, unbeatable, insane market, bam, buy their plays. It's $5 Tuesday. I cannot win in playing that game. I have, you sit there, and I did the math last year on this nonsense, Andy. Take Austin Matthews scores 70 goals one year, got to 69, but let's go with 70 goals in 82 games. So that would mean that if you paid, you would have to be paying a fortune. I can't remember, a fortune every time he plays, because he's averaging basically 1 goal a game. But he's not, because there were like 20 games where he scored 2 goals. There were 4 games that year where he scored 3 goals.
Okay.
So when you look at it from that perspective, there is no way that there's any value betting goal props or sack props or touchdown props unless you know something I don't, which strangely you do, because you can beat that market and I can't. And I think that 99.9% of people playing the touchdown goal market cannot beat it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I mean, Andrew and I do the show on Monday for fun, and yeah, we were spot on the show. I had Kelsey anytime touchdown. We had Lawrence under passing touchdowns. I had Mahomes over attempts, all that stuff. All right, now I got to show you something funny. All right, Prez. So I researched Contender Series, and you're looking at a lot of regional fighters fighting in some very small promotions, and you see some weird things. I saw something I have never seen before, and I would like to show you. So let's pull up this photo. One of the fighters.
What? Oh, no.
So that is the ring girl in one of the promotions that one of the fighters is fighting. Never seen anything like it before in my life. I did a double take, a triple take, a quadruple take. But yes, we will be breaking down.
Andy, I'm not going to give any thoughts on any of this, dude. I want to stay not canceled.
I agree. But anyway, but we have no opinion on that photo. It was just something we thought we should share with everybody. So, all right, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk some actual sports here. You got the Broncos and the Jets. This is a London game. Denver open -5.5, blown through 5.5, 6.5. -7. I'm seeing 7.5s Interesting stat now. Justin Fields is now 0-26 when the opposing team scores over 21 points. He needs to be in these low scoring games. And the over-under is 43.
He's not going to be in one this game, Andy.
Okay, how do you break down Broncos and the Jets?
Okay, before I get into that, I just want to end this prop market stuff. Jesse Schule is in there. Jesse Schule is a prop betting god. And I'm prop bets are, I'm okay if you bet over yards, over passing, over rushing yards. I gave out 3 prop bets last night on WagerTalk last call. Over Etienne yards, I lost. Over Trevor Lawrence's rushing yards, I won. Over Pat Mahomes' rushing yards, I won. I went 2-1 in props. I'm specifically talking about touchdown and goal props. Okay, this game, let's break this down for you guys. So I got 2 bets for you in this game, Andy, and both of them are team totals. I'm not going to look at the over in this game. Now, I understand that I'm going to take the over both team totals. I like that bet better than the over in this game specifically. So Denver over 27.5 points against the New York Jets. I'll break that down real quick, Andy. Denver has gone over 27 points 2 of the 5 games. Now, 21 against Philadelphia, that's a real legitimate defense. 20 against the Chargers, I think they have one of the best secondaries in all of football. And 20 against Tennessee, an anomaly game. That was the first game of the season. They're playing the New York Jets. The New York Jets have allowed over 27.5 points in every game this year but one. The one game they did not allow over 27.5 points was against Miami, in which they got 27 points. The Jets allowing points. So the Jets are allowing 37, 27, 29, 30, and 34. The Broncos can score, take over 27.5, and that is plus money, Andy, plus 110. As far as the New York Jets, I like over 16.5 for the New York Jets. They have gotten 22, 21, 27, 10, and 32. That means that they've gone over the total of 16.5 in every game this year but one. As far as Denver's defense goes, they allowed 17 against Philadelphia and 3 against Cincinnati, 12 against Tennessee, but they did allow 23 and 29 against the Chargers. The over on the New York Jets, I don't like as much as the over in Denver, but the Jets are going to have to keep pace somehow, some way. I think they can get us to 17 points. I like over team total in this game for both teams instead of the over on the entire game.
All right. Well, Diana says we sound like idiots.
Andy, I always find it fascinating. Who is the idiot? The idiot or the person listening to the idiot? Like you get paid to be on this show. I own WagerTalk. Diana decides on her own accord to listen to 2 idiots.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Sorry.
Who's the idiot?
Listen. Hey, sometimes pot's calling the kettle black. Diana,
With
don't
that
forget
said,
to like
I'm so
and
appreciative that Diana is here, and we love you, Diana. Michael Jackson did a song about you. We appreciate you. Please continue to comment. And I've been called way worse than an idiot.
Just this morning.
Yeah. Andy, can I hijack? Can I hijack?
Hijack away. Okay,
so we run a show called The Best Betting Show Ever. It's with me, Joe Ranieri, and Art Caesar. It's a great show to watch. It's funny as hell. It's jam-packed with information. Yes, what I asked people recently to put up a dating profile for Joe Ranieri. A gentleman named Matt Bartley put it up. It's if you listen to yesterday's show, I read the whole dating profile. It is freaking spectacular. But I do want to highlight a couple of things. This is Joe Ranieri's dating profile. About me, they say Love is a gamble. Good thing I handicap. My safe word is push. What a line. What a line, Andy. My safe word is push. Are you kidding me?
Is that real?
I once romanticized a money line dog so hard it ghosted me.
What the hell, man?
I mean, this guy, my hobby is whispering sweet nothings like closing line value in your ear.
He spells love, CLV.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to read it all, but it was someone who understands that line movement isn't about dance skills. It was so well written, dude. This guy nailed it. I just wanted to bring some levity and joy to our show.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Dating profile. I got some friends that use the dating profiles, and I'll just say I'm glad I'm married. And don't,
Okay, with that said, let's take a shot at a dating profile for Andy, everybody. Put up in the comment section of WagerTalk Today. If you were Andy and single and writing a dating profile, what would it be? So,
well, it's the most obvious one is what the phrase that's been floated around the show, how they said I should open the show. It's time to bang with Andy Lang. I think that's the opening line on my dating profile.
It's time to bang with Andy Lang. The amount of Diana, what do you think about that slogan? My Lord.
I think I'd have more women signing up than I knew what to do with. So,
hockey starts today.
Yeah, we're gonna do a hockey prop here. I like Carter Verhaeghe to have a point. What teams are you high on and not high on going into the season?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at like win-loss kind of things. So my favorite win
Points.
over is Seattle. I think Seattle, they've dropped the line too as well, a couple of points. So I like Seattle over in wins, and I like Pittsburgh under in wins. So those are the only two sort of from that perspective. I know people are running. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, I'm using a different mic for some reason. I also don't like Montreal to make the playoffs. And it's not that I don't think they won't make the playoffs. I think there's just no value there. We got Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, all up-and-coming teams with Montreal. I think at even money, you're better off taking Montreal to not make the playoffs.
Yeah, Carmine was talking about Pittsburgh, and I'd have to agree. When you have player props and you're betting on the same guy, you end up watching the same team over and over and over again. And last year, towards the end, I was betting on the Penguins. Yeah, they don't look too great this year. They were really struggling. I'm not sure what the upside to that team is.
Yeah, they're playing tonight too, so we're going to find out quick. With that said, given how old they are, if Pittsburgh's going to win 10 games, they're going to win them early.
Yes, they're going to fall apart as the longer the season goes on. Agree completely. So, all right, Prez, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have up over at WagerTalk?
Well, thanks for asking, Andy. I have a NHL play that goes tonight. It's a 3% play. You can get it over at WagerTalk for only $5. Obviously, as you all know, NHL is my sport. I was the number one NHL expert last year. I'm likely going to be the number one NHL expert again this year. And we have incredible NHL bettors over at WagerTalk. I also have a 4% NFL total bet. I had a 4% NFL total bet last week up for $5 Tuesday. It was the over in one of the games. It won. It won. I honestly can't even remember what it was. I think it was Seattle. Yeah, it was Seattle Tampa Bay over. So that game won. I have the same style of play up for $5. My NFL is 62% on the season. I'm up over 20 units of profit. So I'm ecstatic with that. And also, Andy, make sure everybody to tune in on Sunday for the End Zone show. I know you're not going to be doing the Sunday, right?
Probably not. You guys have a million people on that show.
But I need you the following Sunday, Andy, because I'm out of town.
Okay, just let me know. Just let me know. So, by the way, the ego, the cojones, the bravado that you have to come on there and say, I'm likely going to be the number one in NHL handicapper again. I mean, just next level with you. I was number one last year, and I'm likely to be. The season hasn't even
Brother, I
started.
chose the name The Prez. My show is called The Best Betting Show Ever. Arrogance is my game. Narcissism is my name.
It's always great.
Justin P. There will be no blue line this year. Matthew Barnaby cannot do it on a daily basis, but we will be bringing Matt into the fold occasionally in the best betting show ever. And yes, awesome. The Prez doesn't lack confidence, of course.
I'm glad we're able to get Matthew Barnaby sprinkled in a little bit. That was awesome.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
He's really good. He's really good. So, all right, Lawrence, thank you so much. Great breakdown. It's NHL season. Good luck to your Leafs, and hopefully you got a good season ahead of you. I think your team.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. All right. Again, $5 Tuesday. Every handicapper can put up a $5 Tuesday play. The lines have just come out for my Contender Series play. That is going up right as soon as this show is over. So go grab that. We're coming off a really nice win on Tuesday. We're coming off a 5% win on Saturday in UFC. So we got a 5% UFC play that is up for this weekend. And we'll have our $5 Tuesday play. Go get the $5 Tuesday play. Make a deal. I'll get the $5 Tuesday play. If it wins, then you go get the 5% UFC play. Let's make that deal. All right, Chris, let's do it all around the world. Got to do a player prop for the Panthers and the Blackhawks. I was right behind Prez in units 1 last year in NHL. I gotta get him. I gotta get him this year. I gotta one up him. We're gonna take Carter Verhaeghe to have a point. Yeah, he has a point in 7 out of the last 8 games against the Penguins. He's got a point in 19 out of the last 30 games. You got injuries to Barkov and Kachuk that leaves a lot of points available. I think this Panthers team is deep, but the big-name guys are going to have to score points. So I like Verhaeghe to get a point tonight. Carlos Rodon, over 14.5 outs. I'm just playing the trends here. Over in 4 straight against Toronto, and this is crazy. He's gone over this in 19 out of the last 20 starts. Yesterday, we rode this trend with Luzardo. He easily went over that, so we'll go back to Rodon over 14.5 outs. I lost the free darts play I gave out yesterday. Let's try and get it again. Mike DeDecker minus 1.5 sets over Peter Wright. Peter Wright, if you don't know, he's the ultimate fade in darts. This man used to be a world champion, and he's completely lost his way. The last time they played, DeDecker killed him. Wright is 2-10 in his last 12 matches. So we'll take DeDecker minus 1.5 sets over Peter Wright. He is the ultimate fade machine. All right. So there you go. How Johnny Jumpman. There you go. There's a darts play. This World Grand Prix of darts is going to be going on all week. So hopefully we can stack some winners for you. All right, Chris, let's bring up the Contender Series graphic. Every Tuesday, I try and make the case for the underdogs. These are not official bets. I'm just trying to make the case here. So we'll start at the top. Lucas Caldas against Zainikov. So the case is Caldas is a good fighter. He's got big-time power. Zainikov likes to take guys down and control them on the ground, but I don't think his striking is that good. If Caldas keeps this on the feet, Caldas is live for a knockout. So there is a little bit of value there on Caldas. The next fight is very, very close. The case for Luna is he's tall, he's got long arms and legs, and if he gets us to the ground, he will absolutely dominate his opponent. His opponent is short, is stocky, he's got big-time power. Luna's no joke. He can use that length and reach, and he's got really, really good ground control and submission game. So if he gets it on the ground, he's absolutely live. Rodriguez against Roque. I don't know. I don't think Roki's that good. I actually think Rodriguez is going to win. He's got a lot of experience. He's coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. We had a really good showing. The guy he lost to ended up winning the whole thing. But Roque does have power, and it's Contender Series. 2 guys stand there and try and bang. Roque can can spark him a little bit. I just think Rodriguez is going to be a little bit better with his movement. So not a strong opinion on Roki. The next fight is basically a pick'em. That's going to be a car crash. Someone's going to sleep. So anytime you have two big guys that are going to stand and bang, that is going to not go the distance. Okay, Luke Fernandez and Rafael Pergantino. Pergantino is the one that fought with the special ring girl. I will just tell you, I think Pergantino might be the worst fighter I have ever done tape study on in my entire career. Definitely the worst fighter I've seen this season on Contender Series. Luke Fernandez is a prospect that the UFC really wants. Fernandez is a killer. He can knock guys out. He can wrestle. He can grapple. And this Pergantino guy has about 2 or 3 minutes of cardio. He looked terrified at face-offs. I cannot make a case for Pergantino. Unless he comes out and swings like a windmill and accidentally hits Fernandez, that's about it. But Pergantino is in for a rough night. So that's a breakdown on Contender Series. Right after the show, I'm going to do a full breakdown video on these fights. That'll be up on the Wager Talk channel. And guys, we do our live show every Tuesday on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. Please join us. The live bets have been absolutely fantastic. We get great tidbits of information. We break down all the fighters that get contracts, so you get all those notes when they make it to the UFC. And it's just a hell of a lot of fun to watch Contender Series live. So join us tonight. We'll root on the $5 Tuesday play. And it's always going to be a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit the like button. Leave us a comment below. Tell us what props you're liking tonight. Tell us what you like in NHL. NHL season is back, baby. And we're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck on all your bets. Take advantage of $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk.com. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.